Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Quran and in Sunnah mentioned that a few sins have specific punishments on the Day of Judgment. And we're not talking about Nar, and we're not talking about Jannah yet. And we have, I think, about 9 points. Number 1, the ones who do not pay zakah. The punishment for them on the Day of Judgment varies. In one hadith, Rasulullah ﷺ says that the owner of wealth who does not pay zakah, his money on the Day of Judgment will be presented in the form of a huge snake. And that snake will surround the person and crush him on the Day of Judgment. And then Rasulullah ﷺ mentions in another hadith narrated by Muslim that the one who has gold and silver and does not pay the zakah on that gold and silver, this gold and silver will be formed into plates, and these plates will be heated in hellfire, and then they will be branded with these plates on their foreheads and flanks. And Rasulullah ﷺ says that will continue for 50,000 years. It will continue for all the Day of Judgment. And then Rasulullah ﷺ talked about the one who has camels, and the one who has cows, and the one who has goats, and they do not pay the zakah on it. On the Day of Judgment, they would be laying down in a flat land, and these camels or cows or goats will be running over them, stampeding and crushing them with their hoofs and biting them with their mouths in a day which is 50,000 years long. To withhold a miser small amount of money and then suffer for 50,000 years. It's not worth it at all. Because you're not going to have barakah in that money to start with in dunya. And then you're going to pay the price for it in akhirah. And this money that was withheld in dunya, and you're going to spend it sooner or later. And if you don't spend it, then you're going to leave it behind. This money, you would pay the price for it and suffer for 50,000 years, which is longer than your life in dunya. Therefore, really, we need to have very flexible hands when it comes to money. Give, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when you were created, you didn't have any wealth whatsoever. No pocket, nothing, no bank accounts, nothing. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala provided you with what you have today. Allah is the one who gave it to you. Allah can take it and Allah can give more. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created you and created with you your rizq. So you're going to get it sooner or later. Number 2, the second type of sin, which has a specific punishment on the Day of Judgment. And this sin is a very horrific sin. And it's a major, major sin. And it's very dangerous, extremely dangerous. And it is the cause of the wrath of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on His worst creation, and that is Iblis. This sin is what caused Iblis to go from the high level and rank to being the lowest. It is because of arrogance. أَنَا خَيْرٌ مِّنْهُ, I'm better than him. This sin is very horrible and very dangerous. Whoever has even an equivalent of a small grain of arrogance in his heart will not even smell paradise. Rasulullah ﷺ says, the arrogant will be assembled on the Day of Judgment in the forms of men, but the sizes of ants. Humiliation will come to them from every direction. Adhar is the very small type of ants. You know, ants are different sizes. There's this size that is very small, it's called dhar, because the other ant is called a naml. But this very small ant is called dhar. That is the size these arrogant people will come in on the Day of Judgment. They are human beings, in the form of a human being, but the size of an ant. Humiliation will come to them from every direction, because they will be stepped on by everyone. People are just walking, they don't even see them. Running, and they're stepping over these small human beings. You see, arrogance, one of the reasons this is such a major sin is because in itself arrogance is a lie. You're putting on a fake personality. Whoever has arrogance is actually lying. Why? Because as a creation, we are humble. We are humble because we're the creation of Allah. And Allah is the one who gives us value. Otherwise we would be worthless. We would be nothing. A time has came on the human being when he was nothing. There was a time when we were nothing. We were non-existent. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us value. And we don't get this value except from Him. So we are humble. And we should continue being humble. Whenever we're arrogant, we're claiming something that doesn't really belong to us. And that's why it's a lie. And this lie will be exposed on the Day of Judgment, and they will come in the form they deserve. They don't deserve the value, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will devalue them. And they will come in the form of ants. And that's why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, the worst name, the most humiliated and belittled name on the Day of Judgment is the name of a man who called himself in dunya the King of Kings. This will be the most humiliated and belittled name on the Day of Judgment. Allahu Alam who this exactly refers to, but there was a time in Persia where the king used to call himself Shahanshah, which means the King of Kings. On the Day of Judgment, this king will come in a form of ant, and everybody is stepping over that king. That person is claiming to be the King of Kings, and he's in such a form of humiliation, so that name will be an additional humiliation because claiming something that doesn't belong to the person. Number 3, there are some sins, if a person commits, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not speak to that person on the Day of Judgment. And there are few sins that would cause this to happen.